Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Easily Knitfluenced and my name is Michelle. Standard issue podcast episode today, guys. I have a lot of things to talk about. I have one finished object and I have a lot of new cast-ons to talk about, and then various stages of progress on other whips. So get some iced coffee or some tea or something. This will be a long video, so sit back and enjoy. Okay, hot off the press. Let's start with my finished object, which I have here. And in fact, I'm gonna scoot back as much as I can here without running over my cat, so you can hopefully see what I'm talking about. This is the Cardigan No.9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and it's finally done. Isn't it pretty? It makes me so happy, and I'm really proud of myself for this one. I actually attached buttons to this right after I finished it. And not only did I do that, I also attached buttons to two other cardigans that I had left since last winter without buttons, because why would I attach buttons to things when I have just finished them, when I can do 3 whole sets of buttons for 2 hours on a random Wednesday in the summer? So anyway, I put the little hook buttons on here. It's done, it's finished, it's been blocked, all ready to be worn. So let me talk a little bit about the construction of this and my mental journey with this garment, because for a minute there, I was kind of worried. All right, so this is a standard saddle shoulder. So you can see there's kind of a, knit a rectangle for each of the shoulders. And then you start picking up kind of various pieces on the back, the front, you join in the front, and then you pick up not just the these stitches, but the sort of live stitches from the saddle shoulders that you cast on earlier. So no big deal. I've done saddle shoulders before. I had never worked this yarn in a garment before. So I made this out of Pearl Soho Plenty in the color Bright Tomato. It's a beautiful yarn. I don't know if you can tell, it is very smooth, very round. It's labeled as a worsted, but it will give you an Aran. This is like right on gauge. It's perfectly on gauge for this pattern, which is an Aran weight pattern. Now, the thing about this yarn is it is quite dense and quite heavy. So I started knitting this, and probably halfway through the body, I started to think, is this going to be too heavy a yarn? Is this going to kind of crush the shape, essentially, of the saddle shoulder? And is that going to be a problem? And I kept worrying about that as I went through making this garment. And I mean, look, I'm holding it up now. It is heavy. This is not a garment for a semi-warm day. This will be something I wear when it's pretty cold outside. So I finished the entire garment. I was just sort of hoping for the best. I'm like, yeah, I trust My Favorite Things Knitwear. I bet it'll all pull itself together once I do the button band. So I was doing the button band. You do, this isn't a one connected piece. So you do one side of this button band, then the other side, you kind of make holes for the buttons. And then the collar portion, is done at the end separately. And then there's one more buttonhole that you work at the top here. You can see that right there. And I kid you not, guys, I was not convinced that this garment was going to fit as intended until I was, I think, 2 rows away from finishing this. So like the very, very last step where I was like, oh, it's going to look okay. This is actually going to look really nice on me. And it has shape now, because without the button bands, this looked really big, really shapeless, and kind of like a sack. Plus with all the added weight, I think it just exacerbated that a little bit. So I was very concerned, and I was really worried that I was going to have to frog it. And I kept telling myself it wasn't a problem. I'm like, let's just trust the process, Let's just see how it turns out. If you need to frog it, that's okay. I didn't really voice this on the podcast. It was this like niggling thing in the back of my mind. I'm like, I think I'm just being paranoid. And thank God that I was just being paranoid, because trust the process is right. This turned out beautifully. I wish I could put it on now, but it's really hot in here. I have the AC on, but it's not working that well. So you will see this on me in the wintertime. And actually, if you want to see a sneak peek of me with this on, check out my previous video. I'll link it below. It's the Will I Knit That I just did. I had this on then because it wasn't such a hot day. So you can see what it looks like on, but this turned out beautifully, and I'm so, so, so glad that I stuck with it, because I was like this close to just kind of giving up on it or having it be a dormant whip, because I thought, this isn't really going to turn out how I want, and do I really want to keep going with this and like wind up more yarn and all that business? So I am really, really happy with this. This is my finished object for this month. Very pleased. Can't wait to wear it. We need some cooler weather first. All right, so let's talk whips. And I am actually going to start with new cast-ons, which I don't normally do, but it's because I have a lot to say and I don't want to forget. Okay, so let me start with this one. So hopefully you guys can see this. This is my beginnings of the jean cardigan by Johanna Garish, or Colibri by Johanna. This was just a synchronicity moment. I featured this cardigan in my last video, the Will I Knit That, and I said, really love this. I think it's beautiful. I've wanted to knit something by her for a long time because I love her aesthetic. And then I went to my local yarn store, which is Pick Up Every Stitch in Mount Kisco. If you're in the New York area, please go. I don't know why you haven't if you haven't. And I found a yarn that I had been looking for a long time. It's by the brand Majo Garn, M-A-J-O, which is a European brand. I've followed them on Instagram for forever. To me, they're a bit of a Knitting for Olive dupe, I guess, but a different color range. And I just thought they were really pretty. I thought some of the colors they had were very unique, very pretty, but as far as I was aware, they did not have a distributor in North America. And I couldn't get my act together when I was in Europe to go find some, so I've never tried it. But I walked in to Pick Up Every Stitch, and they had a selection of this. And I thought, oh my gosh, great. This is a perfect, if I get a fingering and a mohair, it's a perfect DK weight. What can I make in a DK weight? And I was going through my favorites, and of course, the jean cardigan. The jean cardigan was there. And lo and behold, the recommended yarn is exactly this yarn combination. So let me show you what I'm using for this piece. Okay, so this is the yarn combination that I'm using. This is the merino, which is a very lovely feel. This is the color slate blue, and I've paired it with this mohair, which is anemone. They didn't have the matching mohair, but I actually really like this combo. So not sure if this is showing up on screen, but this color to me is like, it's like a storm cloud, like a really, really dark storm cloud that's about to just flood your streets. That's what this looks like. I thought it was beautiful. And I thought this mohair would be really cool with it paired. And it's kind of, you can sort of see the combo. I'd say it's still leaning pretty kind of blue-gray, but it's got that little dash of like a lighter purple in it, which I think is beautiful. Okay. So that's the story of how this all came to be. And it's a real yarn guzzler. It's a raglan. I'm maybe like halfway through the increases, and I'm already on my second ball of this, and I've almost finished the first ball of the mohair. So it does say in the pattern to get extra yarn, which I did because I will probably need to make this longer. It's a crop pattern. I have a long torso. It will need to be longer than the pattern suggests. So I bought a lot of this yarn. I think I cleaned them out of one of these two. But anyway, they have a lot of other colors, so you should go visit the yarn store if you haven't already. Now, let's talk about the pattern. So this has not been the easiest experience. It's my first time, like I said, knitting something by Johanna Garish, and I feel like this pattern is probably not one that you should attempt if you're a beginner, because the narrative is not linear in the pattern. Firstly, the instructions are very long. There's charts and there's text, but there's just a lot of very questionable decisions, I think, that have been made in the structuring of this pattern. So the first thing, which really confused me when I did my swatch, is there are no wrong side rows shown in the chart. So the charts only show right side rows. And I was making my swatch. I'm like, this does not look right. Like, what is this? And and then I looked closer, and it dawned on me the labels were, it went, instead of 1, 2, 3, it went 1, 3, 5, 7. And I'm like, okay, I've never seen this before in a pattern, but maybe this is just the way she does things. But I thought that was a very bizarre decision. And it's also quite confusing because if you look closely here, this pattern is worked in alternating lace and then kind of a garter stitch. So it shows you all the the lace, sort of what you need to do for the lace, but it doesn't specify, like, on the wrong side, are you purling? Are you knitting? You just kind of have to figure that out. And in case you are knitting this, for the lace rows, after every right side lace row, you knit as in stockinette. So purl on the other side. For everything that's garter, you do knit on the wrong side. So that took me a minute to figure out. And then the other thing is there are instructions that I think when you piece them all together, it all makes sense. And obviously, like, I'm this far into the garment, so I'm getting there. But they're in like a couple of different places. So the pattern starts with the usual summary of what you're about to do, and then it rolls into casting on the back and all that stuff. And then you have to kind of skip ahead for the charts, which I've done, but then 2 pages after the summary, there's also a little bit of, there's like other instructions on your increases and when those increases need to be. And that's kind of written out, and it is in the charts, but it's easy to miss. And all that means, like, I probably wouldn't recommend this to someone if you haven't knit before. Like, if I didn't know how a raglan works, for example, I would probably struggle with this. Or if I hadn't done basic lace before, I think I would probably be struggling with this. And just sort of like the mechanisms and the structure of how increases work when you're knitting a raglan cardigan, for example. If you've never done that before, I think this would be a struggle. So that's my comments on the pattern. I just think some people in the comments said, like, oh, it's, it might be the translation, that's kind of the issue. And I don't think that's it, because it's not that the English is bad. The English is, by and large, correct. It's funny, in my work, my professional life, we do quite a bit of writing. I work in finance, but we do have to write memos and things like that. And we've hired a writing coach before to kind of help some of our juniors get to grips with how they're supposed to write. And one of the things she repeats like a mantra every time that we see her is, be kind to your reader. So as you're writing things, this isn't some avant-garde creative writing exercise at work. Like, you're trying to convey facts and information in a logical, linear way. So be kind to the reader as you put your thoughts on paper. And I feel like that was my feeling coming away from reading this pattern. I'm like, this is not kind to the reader. So all that means I'm still going to keep going on this. I, kind of feel like I don't really have a choice, because if I put this down for any amount of time, I feel like once I pick it up again, I am not going to remember all the little like tidbits of information that are scattered all over the pattern. And so I'm going to have a really hard time getting back into it, and will probably make mistakes. So I need to get through, I think, at least the increase portion of the body. And then if it's just kind of, straight down from there, I think should be okay to kind of take breaks on this. But I feel like I got to plow through, because I'm going to forget. Because there's like, I put little stickies in, but there's a lot of parts of this pattern that I'm kind of trying to keep track of. So anyway, this is the beginning of my jean cardigan. I'm still really excited to have this, but I'm a little bummed because, I really wanted to knit more patterns by Johanna Garish, and I feel some trepidation about that now. I probably still will, because I just love the stuff she does so much. But my experience with this pattern is, the the explanations are not necessarily, that easy to follow or that linear. All right, that's enough about that. Completely different whip. This just makes me happy to look at it. Okay, so I have to keep reminding myself of the name of this. All right, this is the Hular Sweater by Petite Knit, which is a kid's sweater. And it's so cute. I'll put in a picture of the color scheme that I'm going to be using for this. So my older son keeps seeing me knit all these things, and he's like, Mommy, is that for me? I'm like, no, it's for me. He's like, when are you going to knit me something? So I caved to pressure, and we went to the yarn store together to pick up every stitch. And Karen was so kind in laying out all these different colors for the Hular for him. And he chose these colors himself. So he wanted the red, he wanted rainbow is what he said. But he got red and white for the body. We got a purple for the collar, bright pink for the trim at the bottom, and then 2 shades of blue, different shades of blue for the sleeves. So this is flying along quite quickly. It's a kid's pattern, which is always nice. I realized I don't think I really worked have I worked stripes? I have worked stripes before, but maybe not like this. I've done color work stripes. So this is actually, it's pretty easy to do. The only tricky part for me was doing short rows plus striping in the back. So that's a point I think when I really had to pay attention. But you know, I mean, you guys look, I feel like it turned out pretty well, so I'm happy with it. And the yarn I'm using for this is not one that I've used before because I don't use superwash, but it's for a kid. So I think superwash is required. This is Big Bad Wool by Wipaka. Oh, hopefully, excuse me, hopefully you can see that. And this is a superwash merino and baby alpaca. So it's nice. I think this would be too itchy for me because it has the alpaca, but like it feels very, very smooth. So I think my son will be very happy, but it's August in New York, so I've got some time to complete this. I don't think he's going to need this anytime soon. But yeah, that's the Holger. It's really cute, and I feel like her kids' patterns are really designed to appeal to children. You know, like he saw it and he was like, oh, I want to do that pattern in a rainbow. I'm like, all right, we're going to buy 6 different colors of yarn and I'm going to make this for you. And it's really sweet and it's really happy. So yeah, this should get done. I mean, if I really concentrated, I could probably finish this in the next week. But as you can see, I have a lot of other things that I'm currently working on. So this will get done, just not yet. Another new cast on. I'm telling you guys, I'm like a machine right now. Okay, this is another one that I featured in my Will I Knit That? And this is the beginnings of my clay tee by Ozetta. So this is the back section. Just a fun, really fun pattern. I mean, nothing complicated about it. It's a, you know, repeat of knit and purl rows, kind of in this, I guess, kind of a staggered pattern. So there's sections where it's all garter and then you kind of get the stockinette for a bit. I am knitting this in kind of an unexpected yarn, but I had this in stash, so I wanted to give it a go. This is Pearl Soho Santalina, which is a 100% plant-based yarn. And I'll tell you what's in it. Oh, and this is the color Stormy Sea, by the way. To me, this looks like an indigo or like a blue jean wash. I really like this color. 70% organically grown cotton, 20% rayon from bamboo, and 10% hemp. And it is labeled as a fingering weight yarn, but I am knitting this on a US 5, and it expands quite a bit once it is washed and blocked. And even now, I mean, I don't think you can see through this. So this will expand a lot. I also, for a summer knit like this, I don't really mind if it's a little sheer. In fact, it might even be more breathable. So I like this gauge. I mean, it's very, you can see, really drapey. And surprisingly, this is quite friendly on the hands for a 100% plant-based yarn. Usually with cottons, I struggle, but maybe it's the rayon. Like, it does feel like it has, not stretch exactly, but like a little more suppleness than a 100% cotton would. So if you are interested in plant-based yarns, but you know, the cotton world or linen is just a bit much for you, this might be an option. They have a bunch of different colors. I'm just seeing if this is machine dryable. Oh yeah, you can tumble dry this. So even better, like machine wash cold, tumble dry low. There you go. So this is a good option for anyone who's looking for, I would say, fingering to sport. You can probably get away with sport weight with this. I like it. I like it a lot. My only worry is if I'm going to have enough. This is my first ball. I've got 2 more. Might be borderline. I might need to buy a 4th, but we'll see. I'm knitting a size medium, which should be more than big enough, I think. So I might make the sleeves a little shorter than they are in the picture, but we'll see. So yeah, that's my clay. I can't not have something by Ozetta on the needle, so I'm really happy. I'm very excited. I think this is going to be a real staple wardrobe piece for me in the summers. More whips. Okay. Other loops, baby. We are moving. Okay, let me get this on a hanger because it's a little shapeless. It is pure silk after all. So 1 second. All right, here we go. I'm going to move back a little bit so you can see. This is the Lacy Loops tee by Other Loops, and I have knit this out of Knitting for Olive pure silk in the color Pink Daisies, and it's held double. So I'll show you close up. These guys. It is a very, very, very bright, happy pink. I have blocked this already once, so I think I blocked it when I was around here. Only because I wanted to see how much this would grow once I blocked it, because there's about 8 centimeters of ribbing that you need to do at the bottom, which you can see I have almost completed, nearly there, and I wanted to make sure the length was right for me. So I think I've got it right. Then it's just sleeves and collar. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be in time to wear this on my vacation, which I am leaving on Monday. So I don't think I'm going to get there on time, but you never know. Might happen. If I really worked on this in the next couple days, I might be able to get it done. But this is a really fun pattern. This is like the kind of pure silk knitting that I want to do, not the knitting on, US 1 needle for the next 45 years on like a tiny fingering weight project. This is really, really nice. It's held double. You're meant to do it on a US 6, which is what I've been doing. And it's one of those ones that, it's like a 16 row repeat, I think, with a very simple lace eyelet pattern and then some garter to break it up. It's just fun. It's easy. It's potato chippy. You don't have to think that hard. The pattern isn't impossible to read or memorize. And to the point about pattern writing, this isn't, like a petite knit pattern where it's like 25 pages long. But it's concise, but it's clear, it's easy to understand, it's easy to follow, it is kind to the reader. So, big fan of her writing, and big fan of this top. I think it's going to be so cute. This is one I would absolutely make again. I think I would love this in multiple colors. I would love this in different yarns. Like I might make this in cotton merino, for example, for, the slightly colder months. I think this could be a great garment for any time of year, honestly, except dead of winter. So, I think I'll make this again. It's fun. It doesn't take that long. It grows really quick. It's easy breezy. I love it. So this is my Lacy Loops tee. I hope that the next time I talk to you guys, this will be a finished object. All right, more things that are almost done. Okay, this is my terracotta sweater, which I'm not going to put on the hanger because I keep getting the floats caught in the hanger. But you can see here, I am almost done with this sleeve. I don't know, had I finished the body the last time we talked? Well, anyway, the body's done. So that's all blocked off and ready. Like I said last time, I do need to redo the collar because I don't like how I did the ridge on top. I just want to do like a plain folded collar. But yeah, the sleeves, I had to add a lot to this. So I don't know if it's the yarn I chose maybe, but my row gauge was completely off on this. So I think everything from this point onwards here is added. Like this would have had me just kind of start the ribbing after this repeat here. So yeah, it's a lot. But that's okay. I just bought extra yarn. It's no big deal. And the yarn I'm using for this, I don't have the darker ball near me, but it is Dye Gilpin Lallan DK 100% lamb's wool. This is the color Crowdy, and the darker color I'm using is kind of a taupey color, which is Driftwood. And again, I can't wait for fall. I'm really excited to wear it. Like, imagine just wearing this on, I don't know, apple picking or something. It's going to be so cute. So I am really excited for this, but it's not done yet. I have to do another sleeve, and it is... I just have so many other things. I have so many other things that I'm enjoying and I'm working on, and it's hard to split your time between all of your babies. But anyway, it will get done before the winter for sure. It's like almost there. So this is the Terracotta Sweater. Not a whole lot more to say about this. The color work is great. The pattern's great. It's like easy to follow. Lee Knit is another one who... her patterns are not long. Like, brevity is not the enemy of clarity. Let's put it that way. I don't think longer patterns necessarily are better. She's brief, but she's very clear. I've never had an issue with the 2 patterns I've knit from her. So, another one that is friendly to the reader. Okay. I don't have a ton to say about this one, but it is making... oh my gosh, this is a mess. Okay. This is looking very sloppy, but hopefully you guys will forgive me. This is the Carlotta Sweater whip, and this is Morica knit. So I finished this front section, the left front that is on hold, working on the right front right now. So I've got a ways to go. These increases take a long time. And this is in a slip stitch pattern, so doubly taking me a long time. But that's okay. I think this will be... I would aim to get this done for midwinter, so I've got a lot of time. And it's a beautiful pattern. So I'm excited to get this done. I am doing this in the suggested yarn, which is Lamana Como, which is a fingering weight 100% merino yarn. It is very soft. It is very loosely plied. When I was doing short rows, I snapped it a couple of times. So I would say, though, if you wanted to do this pattern and Lamana is hard to get a hold of, which it was for me, you could probably sub the Knitting for Olive Merino, which is sturdier and would probably give you like probably crisper stitch definition. Not that this isn't crisp, but you know, it's a fuzzier yarn that I'm working with. So I think you could sub that out, no problem. This is kind of a, I'd say like a thin, I guess it's a thin fingering. So I think you could get the same gauge if you use any of the Knitting for Olive yarns, if that's easier. Or probably like a Sandnes Garn, Merino, like any of those would work. So yeah, this is definitely a small work in progress. It's getting there. It's just taking me a long time. But that's okay. I think it'll be a labor of love, and it's a beautiful, classic-looking sweater, so I think the end result will be worth it. Okay, last but not least, this is a little guy, but I've been making progress, so I'll show you anyway. I'm trying to make sure it doesn't fall off the needles. This is my second Songburn Mitten by Erica Heuser. So I'm a little over halfway, I would say. So I did the Latvian braid again here. That was the only addition I made. And the difference here is you can see I'm using the little shorty needles there. So hopefully that's focusing. The first glove I did was done on Magic Loop, which was a slightly harrowing and very tedious experience. So on the recommendation of a lot of your comments, I invested in the little shorty set. This has been so much easier to do, like so much easier. So yeah, I'm not done with this yet, but I'm making progress. It'll get there. Definitely by winter, I'll be finished with this. And this has been just a very enjoyable experience. And thank you to everybody who put in more suggestions for mittens in my last podcast episode. So I have written some of them down, and I will probably be knitting some of them in the near future. And just to mention the yarns I'm using here, these were also stash yarns. This top one, the green, is an Echo Cashmere color. I think it's winter green Pearl Soho yarn. This is also a Pearl Soho yarn. It is the Quartz yarn in, let's say pink something? Fog pink? I can't remember. Just look for the pink color. I think they still sell it. This is a yarn I could probably only wear on my hands because it has a high alpaca content. So even this sitting in my lap right now is making me slightly itchy. So on my hands, it's absolutely fine. On the rest of my skin, not so much. So yeah, I've discovered I'm pretty sensitive to alpaca. Not mohair, but alpaca, yes. So yeah, that's my second Songburn Mitten. Hopefully by the next time it'll be done. Okay, that's it, folks. I feel like I crammed in a lot. I thought this was going to be a way longer video, but that's good. Hopefully I didn't bore any of you. So thank you guys, as always, for watching. Like I said, I'm going to be on vacation for a bit. I may or may not bring knitting with me. Controversially, I don't love to bring knitting with me on vacation. I do bring it with me on work trips because with work, after the working day's done, I'm done with all my networking events, I'm kind of just on my own, so it's a nice time to knit in the hotel room. But when I'm on vacation with my family, I'm kind of with my family, so there's very little time where I'm just kind of bumming around by myself. So I may bring a book, I love reading too, so I'm going to bring a book with me, probably not my knitting. So let's see how much I get done before the next podcast episode. But thank you all for tuning in, as always. Leave a comment, questions, any suggestions or ideas down below. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye for now.